Okay, yeah. So again, thank you, Vinod, and thank you, Kishore. Because of Kishore, this session is possible. He has arranged this session and made sure that we are able to plan one, two at least live sessions every week. So thank you very much, Kishore, for doing this. And I really look forward to some more engaging and some more informative sessions on the IGA domain because he is the IGA lead on our community. So, with that, I would let Kishore introduce Vinod, and then Vinod, you can again talk about some of your
Sure,
background, and then we can
sure,
move to the presentation.
sure.
Yes, Ravi. Good evening, everyone. So, for today's evening, our guest is Mr. Vinod. It's a pleasure to introduce Mr. Vinod. He is a recognized Sailpoint ambassador and currently lead IAM engineer at a large Australian bank, bringing over 12 years of experience in IAM domain. In this session, he will guide us through the different type of tasks in the Sailpoint Identity IQ and share practical daily use cases. Vinod is also a highly active and valued member of the Why Not IAM community, always willing to help others and share his knowledge. We are excited to have him join us for this informative session, which will be available on our YouTube channel. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Vinod. Now, without further ado, let's hand it over to Vinod to get us started.
Hey, thanks, Kishore. Thanks for the introduction. Thanks, Ravi, for giving me the opportunity, first of all. And thanks, Kishore. Um, so I'll do, for the introduction of myself, so currently working for the large bank within Australia and uh, more than 10 plus of years of experience. So predominantly in IAM domain, like I have worked upon, initially started off journey with IBM Stack, then worked on different IBM related identity management solutions, then worked on different ISAM, like authentication area. Also worked on different products, other IDM products like NoT-IQ and all, like around 3 plus or 4 plus of years within SailPoint Identity IQ. So right now in Identity IQ only, not Identity Now. So if you have any queries on Identity Now, like I can try helping out by reading some documentation, but mostly worked on Identity IQ. So today's topic we will more discuss on the different types of tasks within Identity IQ and some of the use cases. So the floor is yours. Like if I'm telling any topic, like if I'm going further, if you're not understanding, stop there and ask for more questions. Like if you have some use case, we can still deal with it. But if you have any particular use cases where the topic is more taking more time, then we can stop there and then we can discuss at the end, like after certain topics that we can discuss. So I'll try to cover off in the time whatever Kishore and Ravi gives me. Like if required, we can continue later, like next week again. So without not going further, like I'll share my screen.
So one more thing,
Yeah.
your voice is little low. I'm not sure if it is for me or for everyone.
Is it
Uh,
audible?
yes, we
It's
My
okay for
volume
me,
is
Ravi.
my volume is almost
it's
95.
audible
Yeah.
for me.
It's okay, right, for others?
Yes, for me, Ravi, it's okay.
It's okay. Okay, cool, cool. Then that's
Um, you guys are able to see my screen?
Yes. No.
Is it not audible?
No.
Okay. Okay, sorry. So what about now?
yes.
Okay. So I just prepared a kind of a deck to discuss more on the topic of um, tasks. Like right now, I don't have a working environment. Like I just borrowed my laptop from some of my friends' laptop and then giving some things. Like I will try to set up maybe in the next session if required, and then we can go from there. So today we mostly discuss on the different types of tasks. Uh, so so firstly, tasks, is everybody working in Identity IQ, or anybody wants to know a brief introduction of Identity IQ or any IGA solution? If yes, just let me know. Otherwise, we can just go in detail, like in detail
So
about the task.
basically, the audience is club of Okta, Ping, SailPoint, and all the other tools. So yeah.
Yeah. So mainly Identity IQ provides the IGA solution, mainly identity governance and administration related activities. Like IAM is a whole bigger world. Under that, IGA is a one umbrella. Like there are different when you say IAM, when you go into IAM world, like
Uh, we are not able to hear Vinod. Sure. Is it with me? Or?
Yeah, same for me also. Not able
Yes.
to hear with.
Okay, hold on, guys. I'm connecting with Vinod on WhatsApp.
oh sorry, I was on mute, I guess. Sorry. Is it audible now?
Yes,
Yes, Vinod.
yes, Vinod.
Sorry. I think there's some mute button got. I think somehow it got muted. So I was talking about IAM is a bigger world where you have authentication authorization where you will deal with. But SailPoint solves the problem of only the IGA solution, so identity governance and administration part. So in that, SailPoint is providing the on-premise solution, which is Identity IQ. And SailPoint also started providing the cloud native version, cloud native solution, which is Identity Now or ISC, Identity Security Cloud. So that I think is almost in the system from almost from last 5 years. But Identity IQ is being there from almost 10 plus years within the market. So current version of Identity IQ is 8.4, and SailPoint is releasing the versions almost every year. But their concentration has been diverted these days to Identity Security Cloud. So in terms of Identity IQ,
Vinod,
yeah,
sorry to interrupt. Are you sharing your screen? Because
yeah.
it's not visible.
Again, it got shared. Okay. What about now?
Yeah, we can see now.
Yeah. So okay. So I was just talking about Identity IQ. So mainly, so SailPoint is dealing with two products, which is Identity IQ and Identity Now. So right now we are discussing on the SailPoint Identity IQ solution. So in that, we are mainly discussing on the tasks, the different types of tasks which are present in SailPoint. So first of all, what is a task? Um, so tasks are mainly used to automate the processes, like which can build, update, and maintain the information within Identity IQ. So tasks such as perform a periodic operation such as aggregating the data from applications, refreshing the identity cubes, or refreshing the roles, or we can run the rules, uh, perform system maintenance, and many more things that identity refresh, like many more things can be done with the help of tasks. So uh, anybody knows about some of the daily usage of tasks that we have in Identity IQ? Like it's an interactive session, like keep discussing so that we'll come to know some of the information that you guys also know.
Yes, like this identity refresh, performance maintenance, all these are daily scheduled tasks. Means every 15 minutes it is getting scheduled as per.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. There are different types of tasks within the system. So today we mainly discuss about how the system starts with. So first, when we onboard a particular application, which is like where the HR system is created, like HR system creates all the identities, right? So suppose we take an example of Workday. So first, in the workday, your identity creation identity gets created. Like a person joins a particular organization, then his identity, his details get captured, like his first name, last name, whatever are the details, they get captured in the workday system. Then in SailPoint Identity IQ, we define that particular application as a source of truth or authoritative application that we define in a particular application configuration, and we aggregate the data. So that aggregation job where we are getting the data from Workday is nothing but the aggregation kind of task. So aggregation is nothing but getting the data from the source, from the Workday application. So whatever are identities present in the Workday, we first get the identities via the aggregation job. So aggregation is also a kind of a task now here. So there are different types of tasks present. So some of the tasks are like aggregation task, identity refresh task, perform maintenance tasks. So there are different types of tasks. First, we get the data from the system, which is with the aggregation related task, where we try to get all the data. Like we basically perform a get operation on a workday to get all the user data from the target system, from the workday system. So then the identities get created. Once the identities are getting created, then we have a different types of tasks which will go further. So in SailPoint Identity IQ, if you have the Identity IQ version, then in the task location you can go to new task and create a different type of task. What is the type of task? Like is it a account aggregation task or a identity refresh task? Based on that, you create the task accordingly. So the first task that so SailPoint all like with the SailPoint Identity IQ version, when you install that, automatically some certain types of tasks get created, which are perform maintenance task, identity refresh task. Those are by default present tasks within the system. So the perform maintenance task is one of the important tasks within the system, which has a different options. For example, if you see the perform maintenance task, this is a predefined task within the system where it maintains the health and efficiency of the identity management system. So the main task is it performs all the maintenance activities and making sure it is running smoothly and efficiently. There are different types of pruning operations within the identity refresh task again, within the perform maintenance task. So it, like for example, you have a lot of task results running in the system. A lot of, like for example, like you have here a different options within the perform maintenance task. Like your system is big enough where you have task results, where you have requests, where you have identities. All this data is piling up. When the data is all piling up, one day you need to delete all these. If you don't design properly your identity IQ solution, then your database will be full and table sizes will be full, which will eventually create the performance problems. So there are some recommendations which SailPoint has given where you select these options. That way you are pruning all these task results, identity snapshots, provisioning transactions. Whenever a request is raised, there will be a provisioning transaction created in the identity IQ system. So all these operations, when you use these operations, then the perform maintenance task will evaluate these and will delete accordingly. So there are different sort of options present in a system, and this perform maintenance task is scheduled accordingly, where it runs every depending on the organization, where it runs every 10 minutes or 15 minutes. Usually it runs every 10 minutes for any of the organization, depending upon the number of options they have selected. Sometimes in some organizations, they select only like these pruning activities they do in the night, whereas the background workflow events, where when you raise a request, for example, when you raise an access request within Identity IQ, then it goes to a particular manager approval. And then once the manager approval is done, um, then it will raise a call to the API related application if it is a direct integration, and then it will provision into target system. So that all these activities are run against this perform maintenance task only. So the perform maintenance task will actually perform these background workflow events. So there are different workflow. It will like when you raise a request, it will create a workflow case. That workflow case will eventually create a event. That event will process with the perform maintenance task only. So these are the different options present in the perform maintenance, where you do a pruning activities, or if you want to finish a particular certifications. Usually what organizations do, these pruning activities and all, it will run in the night, and in the morning times usually they run the background workflow events, and those will get processed every 10 minutes. And if you have any issues, right, with these perform maintenance tasks, then your total system is having issues. So if the perform maintenance task doesn't run, then you will have you will not see any uh, uh, access request processing further. So anybody has gone through any time this perform maintenance having issues? Yeah, feel free to let me know, like if you have any um, if you have noticed anything, any errors or anything in the perform maintenance task. We can discuss further on these perform maintenance task related things.
So, one quick question. So, since the performance task issues are since it is on-premises system, right? IIQ, we are maintaining. But if it is a cloud-based like like INT now, so will that we have to take care of the performance maintenance issues,
No,
or
so we will not be in the identity security cloud environment. We are not even knowing what's happening in the background. So SailPoint has not given us more information on what's happening in the background at all. So maybe in the background they are running this perform maintenance task, but we are not sure about those. They are not giving us any detailed options like what we have in Identity IQ.
okay? But we can't see that even in the logs either. What is going on there? Any errors or anything?
I have not predominantly worked on identity now
Okay.
solution, so maybe I can't comment much on that.
Yeah. Thank you.
And there are other system defined tasks which are perform identity request maintenance. For example, when you raise a service, when you raise an access request, then the access request will have a different phases. Like it's in pending phase, it's in incomplete phase, it will go into completed state. So all these statuses are decided by this perform identity request maintenance task. Usually this task is defined in the evening times or in the night times, when where you will see this perform identity request maintenance going to different statuses. For example, you raise an access request, and if it is pending with your manager, then it will go into pending state. And then if it is completed with the provisioning, then it will be in identifying phase, or it will be I think still it will be pending. Then after a full assigning the access to the target application, then you will see in I think different phases, like at the end you will see complete phase, and there are also phases like verifying phase. uh, Different phases are there. So these changing of phases of these identity requests is maintained by this perform identity request maintenance task. So you will hear different questions where when you are attending an interview or when you are doing your certification exam. Definitely these predefined tasks, SailPoint, identity IQ interviews, uh, almost in every interview, people keep asking you, what are the different types of system defined tasks? Then you will have to explain with different options. So they might give you a use case like, um, if I want to prune a particular objects, then how do I do? Then you will have to say like, with the perform maintenance task, the pruning mechanism is present, and you have to enable that in the global settings. Based on that, you can prune all these requests or whatever the snapshots. You can do it via these perform maintenance jobs. So this is about perform maintenance and perform identity request maintenance. And there are other system defined tasks like check expired work items, check sunset requests. So these are more of work items related that need to be here. That needs to be there might be some work items which need to be cancelled or escalated to a different user. So all these predefined tasks will be seen here with the check expired work items. And there is one more task called check sunset request. So for example, when you are requesting a role, then you set a expiry date for a particular role. When you set an expiry date, then it will create an event within the system, within the SailPoint system. So that event will be processed when with the predefined tasks which are present, and it will send with this task, it will send the email notifications to the corresponding requester or role owner saying these roles have been removed based on the sunset expiry. So all these things can be defined in this check sunset request. And there are other predefined tasks. Like one more thing is the identity refresh. Um, um, Not the identity refresh. I think indexing on a particular roles. So all these things. For example, if you want to index a role, there are some certain tasks like full text index refresh and role refresh indexes. So these role refresh indexes is um, how many users are assigned to a particular role. So those information will be captured when you refresh that indexing on the roles. So these are predefined tasks. We have to run these on this system, so that we'll come to know. For example, if you want to know in the risk scorecards or in the risk or in the role information, how many users are present in this role, then you will come to know like 100 users are present in this role. How will we come to know is based on these role refresh tasks or the full text index refresh, where for example, if you change the description in a particular role, those descriptions don't get automatically updated when you request for a particular access. So until unless you run these tasks, these full text in full whatever the text changes that you did will not be able to come. Any questions on these predefined system tasks present? These are the different options present in the perform maintenance tasks.
Vinod, like in production environment,
Yeah.
how long it takes to perform these tasks, right? Do we schedule them at once or in batches?
You can schedule them in different ways. Like sometimes the organizations do these pruning activities in the evening or on a weekly basis. So you don't want to prune every day, right? You don't want to make your system busy in running all these tasks. So you can do those activities of pruning of these options. Like you can create multiple instances of these tasks. So I can create a task name perform maintenance pruning options, which will you will enable only pruning related things. and I can schedule that on the weekly basis. Then every day, what you need mainly the processing of background workflow events. If you want to process a particular workflow event, then you will have to run only with this option with every 10 minutes as a scheduler, as a schedule. That way, only these events will be running every 10 minutes, which are important for you to move the perform maintenance related information further. Did I answer your question? Like, you can create multiple instances of perform maintenance, and whichever options you need, you can select them and schedule them.
Yeah, thanks. Got it.
Yeah, Abhishek, you were having.
Yeah, Vinod. So, hi Vinod and hi everyone. So, Vinod, I'm new to the Sailpoint IQ. Okay, I have one question. Like, can we, are we able to create any custom task?
Yeah, we can create custom tasks. You just need to create the custom task definition. What you want to do in that task definition. You can write up a rule. You can write up a more in, like you can write up a rule in that task definition, and you can create that. Like for example, I want to. There are 100 applications, 100 target applications,
Mm-hmm.
100 aggregations. I want to run all at once. Whereas SailPoint provides only sequential task launcher. For example, there are 100 account aggregations. Then I have to run one by one. And one by 100 applications, if I am running one by one, then it will take long time,
Yes.
and it will take hours to complete. Then if I want to create a custom task where it will run one at once, you can do that also. That you can do via defining a custom task definition, and you have to write up a rule in such a way where you define a particular custom objects, and you have to design that. You have to design in such a way all tasks have to run in parallel for me. So that you have to design in that custom task and invoke them.
Okay. Okay, Vinod. So, as you are saying that we are able to create or define the rule. Okay. So, where we will define, like for on the debug page or on the task option only itself?
No, you have to create that custom task definition. You have to create that
Okay.
way. It will come up in your new task options,
Okay.
and then you have to use that task and create a task definition again.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much. Yeah.
And you can change accordingly. You can change in the debug editor the
Mm-hmm.
code or whatever you see. If there is anything wrong, you can definitely change that. And all these objects, all these are stored. As you know, SailPoint store everything in an object only. Like end of the day, task definition is one object, task result is one object, and then everything is stored in the XML format. So you can go and see every task definition in the debug page. You can schedule them, as I said, like you can schedule them at whatever time you want. You just need to see the tasks. I think it will be stored. You can define that you can create a cron expression accordingly. Like if I want to run a particular task on a Saturday, Sunday only, then you can use the cron expression accordingly. That cron expression also you can there is a free formatter website where you can create a cron expression and then use that cron expression, update in debug, and that way the task will be running only on Saturday, Sunday. So there are different flexibility options present within SailPoint where the SailPoint is giving. You leverage these options. You need to design your solution according to your organization.
Okay. Thank you.
So there is one option.
Any questions?
And this is Pravin. I am just telling you. There is one task for running the rules. We can run the rules by using the task.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, yes, Praveen. Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, yeah. Feel free to add on more, Praveen. Yeah, as you know more things. So So there are different, when you are creating different types of tasks, you can have these options called run rule task also. And there is sequential launcher task also. These are different types of tasks present in the system. So you can create, as Praveen said, you can create a rule, and you want that particular rule will have a code where in that code where I want to navigate to different users and update some data in the identity object, and you want to run this as a task every day in the evening, then you have to create a rule, you have to create a task, and that task is of type run rule task, and then schedule the task on a nightly basis or evening basis. That way, that code will be evaluated every day at a particular time. So you can define the rule runner task that way. And there is another task called sequential task launcher, where you want to run in a sequential way, where first you want to aggregate all the data from Workday, and then you run the identity refresh task. Then it is in a sequence, right? So that sequential launcher task also you can create. So where first it will run the Workday account aggregation, and it will process all, it will get all the data from Workday, and then once it is completed, then it will run the identity refresh task. So these are the different types of tasks present. You just need to use the different type and uh, act accordingly. Like these are the different commonly used different types of tasks I just touched upon. And another important task is the identity refresh task. So in identity refresh, there are different types of options present. Um, one second, I'll just. So there is a
Vinod, can you
proper,
please put it
yeah,
on slideshow? Yeah.
yeah. Oh, is it okay? One second. Yeah. So I'll go through the a proper white paper present for the identity refresh options. So everyone, whoever have worked on Sailpoint Identity IQ would have gone through these identity refresh tasks. So there are different options present in the identity refresh task. Almost 40 plus of options are present. So if you worked on initially, then you will just refresh the identity queue with particular some options, and then you move on it. But in different use cases will be there, and in those different use cases, you will start using different types of tasks, different options within the task. So there are different options like this. So if I go ahead and talk about, second, I just go back to the PPT only. So here, I'll go through some of the important identity refresh task options. Praveen, if you want to add, please add, Praveen.
Yes.
So firstly, you want to filter particular identities. For example, a location specific identities. I want to refresh only a particular location where the people are in India. So then you define that location attribute and identity attribute and mention as location is equal to India, and you can frame a filter and identities who are active, those only you can refresh those identities. There are some cases where a production issue came in, and only the India location users are affected, and because of that you need to refresh a particular only these location users. Then you give this filter and run the identity refresh with particular options, and then refresh the users. That way you are refreshing only the India location users who are active. So the different use cases based on these filter criteria, you are like, for example, you have around 100K users, 1 lakh users, then you are only want to refresh only some location based India users, then you will get around, for example, 5,000 users. Then you are refreshing only 5,000 users. You don't want to refresh full set of users, right? That's where the filter criterias meet, and you add these filter criterias correctly, so that you take the subset of users from the full set of identities. This option will help you in that. And even you can create a population. When you are creating a population, there comes a population option where you can create a population. In that population, again, you can create location as India, and you can just select this population accordingly. For example, next day you get a requirement where location is equal to USA. Then if you create all these populations, it is just a click of a button where you select that particular location and refresh those users accordingly. And there are some options, like if you want to refresh a particular identities before this date, or at least some number of hours ago, and within these number of hours, these options, right? For example, the refresh identities work job is completed, but in between some other issue came, and you just need to refresh the users which were refreshed just few hours before. Then you use these options. So it depends on the use case what you get. So when you see those kind of use cases, then you should remember these options and their usages. Then when you remember these options and their usages, you have to play around with these options and try it out. So if you don't do that blindly and you do for all users, it is waste of time, of resources of your system, and you are running the full identity refresh for all users, which will add load in your system, and that will cause performance issues. So that's why you need to know all these options and their usages. That way you can think when a situation happens, you just select those options and run them. And there are other options like refresh only identities marked as needing refresh during aggregation. So, for example, during aggregation job, you can see sometimes, like as I said here, I'm just reiterating the filters like this we can use. So name is equal to this particular person, or even you can use a filter particular application you want to, whoever have Active Directory, refresh only those users. So those kind of filters you can use here. And I was talking about the whose IND refresh is last before date. So these also you can use here. So this one which I was talking about, where when you are aggregating a particular account and that requires a identity refresh, then you select that option. That way it will refresh that identity. So for any of these your application, for sure, these refresh identity attributes, refresh identity entitlement for all links, and refresh manager status. This refresh identity entitlements for all links means it's like whatever application accounts you have, those all identity entitlements you are refreshing, which will definitely slow down your system when you enable this. But some use cases, sometimes you need to do that for certain use cases. Then you need to select that. But most of the organizations use refresh identity attributes, refresh manager status, where you are refreshing the manager status, and refresh the assign, detected, and promote additional entitlement. This is important one, where you are refreshing the roles, assigned roles, detected roles within your identity, and if there are any additional entitlements that need to be provisioned, those you use these options, and this one, mainly the provision assignments as well. So, for example, there are some base roles or auto-assigned roles where they are meeting a particular criteria. I defined a new role, say um, a like a admin collector role. So where whoever are meeting the criteria, like location is equal to India, and then and their life cycle status is active. I just created the role. Then when I created the role, then whoever are meeting this criteria, they will get this role automatically. Then what option I need to select here? Mainly this option: refresh, assign, detected, and promote additional intent. If you don't select this, then that auto assigned role will not come to you, will not come to the users who satisfy that criteria. And then for that auto assigned role, you create a entitlement. That is create that for example, that is creating a active directory group, active directory entitlement in active directory. So if you are selecting that, if you want that, then you need to select this option called provision assignments. Then only that particular auto assigned role will get added to the user, as well as it will create the additional AD group within the target. So these two options are another important options, where you will get all your roles properly updated, plus whatever target assignments it needs to happen, those it will happen. So these two are other important ones. And the other ones are like refresh role metadata for each identity. For example, if you want to there are some role metadata, as I mentioned, like how many users are assigned to this role. So those data, if you want to keep a track of that, then you will have to enable these in your environments. And this is another one is enable manual account selection. For example, you have some CSV pattern, like delimited file applications. So then when a particular role is assigned, then you want you want a work item to be raised. So then without this selection, you will not get the work item form to whether to create an account or to update an account, that you will not get until you select these options. And there are other options like and another important option is the synchronize attributes. For example, you have you got the data like for in Workday. I was like suppose, let's say an example like Vinod is created today. Vinod is created in the HR Workday system. Then as we define Workday as authoritative source application, then as part of the Workday aggregation, the account gets created within the identity IQ, like identity queue gets created. Then my last name changes within the system. When the last name changes as a next day, it will come as a change um, within the workday, which will get detected via the aggregation, and you need to synchronize this attribute like my last name to the other downstream applications. Like for example, you have Active Directory connected, or you have a SAP, or you have a Salesforce, different target applications you would have created, right? Those applications also you need to get your last name updated. Firstly, my last name was Kumar, then those Kumar would have been updated. Then I'm changing it to Kumar 123. Then that Kumar 123, whatever I got, it has to synchronize to all the downstream applications. When I say downstream applications, it's nothing but different target connected applications. So in order for those attributes to get synchronized, this option plays a key role. Getting like anybody has any doubt so far in these different types of options present?
Vinod, I have a query.
Yeah, sure.
What is the difference between assigned role and detected role?
Assigned roles are nothing but the roles like those are IT. Those are sorry. What are these?
Business roles.
Yeah, business roles, or like other business role, IT role, and so these are business roles. Whereas detected roles are IT roles. Like whatever you get from entitlement, those will get assigned, will get as a detected role. If you have a corresponding AD group in the target, and if you define a particular IT role, that will get detected automatically, and that is called a detected role. And until unless you assign a business role, and if you don't link that business role to the IT role, then you will not get the entitlement. So that is the business role is called assigned role, and the IT roles are called as detected roles within the underlying INDIQ.
Just having queries that business roles are only assigned and detected,
Business roles
or
are only assigned.
okay, IT roles are both assigned and detected, right? Or
IT
only
roles are only detected.
okay, okay, okay. Thank you. Just that
Yeah.
If business
Any
roles
other
are
question?
assigned, if business roles are assigned to any identities, IT roles will get detected, and actual entitlements added in that IT roles will get provisioned.
Yeah, that's right. Any questions so far, like on any topic, on any of the options so far we discussed?
Yeah, I just have one more question. How do we create population?
Yeah.
You mentioned in the second option,
Right now I
population.
don't have a screen, but in the uh, at the end, maybe Praveen, if you have time, like, can we open up your demo environment? Then we can show him the
One
population.
second, I will share right now within 1
Yeah,
minute.
okay. Thank you, Praveen. I will stop sharing. Huh?
Yes, I'm sharing my screen. Is it visible to you?
Yeah,
So for a population, there is no direct option like groups and work groups here. For groups and work groups, we can create like directly here, create work groups for
No,
group
no.
create.
If you go to population, then you can create a population here.
No, there is no direct option to create. So in advanced,
Yeah. Via advanced analytics, you can create a filter, and that
yes,
filter you can create as a population.
we can save as population. So here we can select multiple filters, region wise, their manager wise. Suppose I'm selecting the criteria, all those users who are managers. Yes.
Yeah.
Again, we can add
And then
other
search.
filter also, search, and here,
And then that result options you can use as a population.
1 second.
Yeah, yeah. Click on
Here,
that. Yeah. Yeah.
here we can
Yeah,
save
save.
identities as population. 1 second. It is left. Save identities as a population, and here we can give any names, and that population will reflect there while select creating that replace tasks. So I'm giving here managers only.
Yeah.
So that now it is created.
And then
Maybe
you go to groups again. Yeah.
so here in population, here you can see this just now I created. These are the 3 population I have created. When I'm reaching, when I'm creating the refresh task,
You can select that option.
oops, identity refresh, edit.
Go down. Yeah. Yeah.
All the
Drop
all
down.
the
You can
population
select
which
it.
I have created, they will get reflected here. We can refresh those users only.
Okay.
Yeah, got it.
Yeah, and maybe you can be on the screen. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. If you have any other like.
Yes. You can tell me this. Now you can
No,
share it.
go back to that screen. I mean, that I
Okay,
did the options only. Yeah.
okay. 1 second.
Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, creating that population is just for quicker refresh of like whatever the identities we need, right?
Yeah. Mainly like you need, but like for example, as I mentioned, like only the managers you want to see. Then you can create that filter. Like for example, managers plus location specific, and active users. So you can create that filter criteria and save as a population. So that way, that population will be created and you can use that population. That way, only those users will get refreshed when you give that here, when you select that population here.
Yeah, got it. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, maybe if you can go down, Pranay, yeah. Yeah. So I was talking about synchronize attributes, refresh manager status. So even Praveen has selected all these important attributes. So those attributes mainly to synchronize to the downstream applications. So that attribute plays a key role. And there is one more called process events. So if you can go down, Praveen. So process events is one of the another important tasks, important option within the identity refresh task. You create a different life cycle events. So when you are joining a particular organization, then it will be a joiner event. And when you are moving from one one BU, one business unit to another business unit. For example, you are moving from one job within the particular organization to different organization. Then we can create a mover task based on the different attributes that you define in the organization. Then when you are leaving the organization, then we create a leaver event. So these events get how many events you want to create. Those events you can create within the identity IQ, and those events will get processed as part of this identity refresh. So maybe Praveen, if you can go to setup identity lifecycle events. Yeah, lifecycle. So these are the different types of events that you have created in the system, and you need to enable them. So I think these are not disabled. So based on these events, those events related users, it will process as part of that identity refresh. So you have to define the events here, and that event can be based on different attribute statuses also. For example, the manager, like I was talking about mover process, right? Mover or nothing but a transfer process. So if my job description is changing, or if my job title is changing, or if my job details are changing, then for example, if I am in one job and then moving to a different job, then I don't need all my accesses, right? For example, I have 100 set of accesses, 100 set of roles, and that roles are underlying giving you 100 entitlements. So that I don't need when I am moving into a different newer team, right? Then you can call this a mover event, and as part of when the mover event is triggered, I want certain actions to be done that you define in your particular workflow. And in that workflow, you can write your business use cases in whatever way you want. I want, like, I am going into a new team. I don't need all my accesses, right? Then in that business workflow, you can define to remove all the accesses, and so that the user can resubscribe to them, resubscribe to the newer role, whatever he wants. So those all you can define in a particular workflow. But in order to process all that workflow, you need to select that option of process events within the identity refresh. So each option has an interlinking functionality to different use cases. So that is the importance of that identity refresh process events option. Oh, yeah, maybe if you can go back again, Praveen, the different uh, options
We're not
in
creating
identity refresh.
workflow means we need to write code how that should
Yeah,
act.
we need to write down the code. For example, in terms of that mover process, when a mover happens, what do you want to do in the business organization? The organization might say, I want a certification to be raised, access review to be raised, where the manager will go and review all my accesses, and the manager, he can decide whatever he wants, right? Like he wants certain roles to be present and certain roles I don't want to be present. Then a certification campaign can be created, and the manager can approve some accesses and he can revoke some accesses. When he revokes, then automatically those roles will get removed. That is one kind of use case, regular use case. And some cases where all the roles let it remove, then the user himself will go and re-request the roles. So these two are the normal use cases. Some organizations will have some other business logic to be driven. That logic you will write down in your workflow.
Got it.
Vinod, Pravin,
Yeah.
can we wrap up the session in 10 minutes? Like we can continue in the
Yeah,
next
sure.
session.
Sure, sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll take the screen, Pravin. So another different type of task is the account aggregation task. So in the account aggregation tasks, so we will have a different options here also. Like what is a different type? What is a type of application that you want to aggregate? So for example, if you select here Workday, then that particular application you need to select, and you need to define a certain operations. So for example, here you want to delete all the accounts, whichever are detect deleted accounts. So you want to detect whatever the accounts that are deleted for example, if you are aggregating Salesforce, then Salesforce, whatever are deleted, that also you need to detect the deleted accounts and delete within the system also. So those each and every option has its significance, and if the particular application supports a delta aggregation, that you can use this option where if it supports delta means like suppose you have 100 accounts in Salesforce application, then only two accounts are changed within the Salesforce. Then when you enable the delta aggregation and the delta is supported at Salesforce, only two accounts will get aggregated on that day, because those are the ones which are changed. So we don't want every account to be processed, right? If you enable delta, only whatever the accounts change, those only our system also will get updated. So you need to go through that account application definitions. You need to go through that application, what aggregation options it supports. Those you need to find out and you need to enable accordingly. And another important option in each of these identity refresh or account aggregations is the partitioning enabled. So partitioning means, like, if, for example, if there are 10, if you have 10 task servers, and if you enable partitioning, right, in 10 task servers, all these agree, like, and you have say 1 lakh accounts present in the Salesforce application. Then and if you want to enable partitioning and you want to do only 1,000 objects per transaction, then 10 task servers will be processing all your requests at once, which will speed up the aggregation task completion. So when the aggregation task is completed quickly, then you will have your system, the performance will be better, right? Like where the task servers can be utilized for other application tasks. So when you have defined all these tasks in the initial stage, as and when your organization matures with the different applications, then you will start exploring these options. Initially, you will just aggregate a particular application. Then, when there are hundreds of applications coming in, then you have to explore all these options of enabling partitioning, increasing your task servers, increasing your UI servers, making sure your system is mature enough to handle all these different type of tasks with the different task options present in the aggregation. And in these aggregation options, you want to have, you want to define only the create new accounts, the remove account operations, whatever actions you want to include in this task result, you can select these and then run accordingly. Like common issues that you see is a particular account aggregation is run and you will see a lot of errors coming in. Then basically you need to enable the corresponding log4j related task related debug messages, and you can debug more with the loggers present. So you enable the debuggers in the log4j properties, and you start going through the IIQ log. What is the reason of these failures? Are there any script errors? Are there any errors related to, are there any, if it is a HTTP application, different types of HTTP errors will also you will see, banner request, 503, 500, 400 type of request, 500 type of request. Depending upon that, you need to contact to the particular application team and try to resolve all of these different errors that you see. And in conclusion, like you can go to, you can administer all these task information via the admin console. There is a admin console where you can see what task is running on which server. So those all details you can see in the administrative console. For example, if you have 5 task servers, then what tasks are running on this task server, you can see like which task, how many threads are allocated on each task server, those information also you can see. So in conclusion, like the tasks within the identity IQ plays a crucial role where whatever the like be it a aggregation task or identity refresh task or a predefined perform maintenance or a different task, if they are not running, then you will have to find out, debug them, resolve the issues, and make sure these issues are addressed. If you don't address these errors present in these issues, then you will see a indirect effect where it can hamper the application's performance, or like for example, if INT refresh or perform maintenance are not running, then INT IQ is doing nothing. These are the core important tasks where you have to make them up and running in the system. And if a particular workday aggregation is not running every day, then you are not getting any data within your identity system. If you don't get the data from workday, then the identity IQ will have wrong data within the system, which will lead to issues with the downstream applications. So all these aggregations, identity refresh, perform maintenance, identity request maintenance, each and every task will have a some role or the other to play to have your system up and running. Any,
Yes.
any questions from anyone? Yeah. Sorry.
Uh, yes, Vinod. So as we are talking about the task, okay, so it can be failed anytime. Maybe I don't know because I have never performed on production environment. Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
so like, so we like, might we will get the resume option. So that's is my question. Like, do we
You can
get the
re-trigger
resume?
them. Like if you know what could be the issue, for example, if you run a task,
Mm-hmm.
then if you are running a aggregation task for a Salesforce application, maybe
Mm-hmm.
the Salesforce system is down, then you will get a 500 error message where 503 where their system is down. Then you drop an email to the application team, or you drop an incident, raise an incident for the app team, why we are getting an error. Then once they resolve it, then you rerun the aggregation accordingly.
Okay, so I need to like start from the scratch after that.
Yes, you have to, because it is a, depending on the error, right? It's for example, if it has processed, for example, if there are 100 records, 99 records it has processed, and on the 100th record you got a null pointer exception, then that is okay. 99 records are processed, right? 100th record, it failed, but it is okay for the system to function. So depending on the error, you have to take next steps.
Okay. And as you like said the error code, so like do we get any kind of documentation on the error codes, or it comes through the experience only?
Like depends on the type of integration. If it is an LDAP integration or Active Directory integration, each and every integration will have a normal connector documentation. You have to go through that, and different error codes you have to see. You have to go through that and find out. It depends on mainly the connector, what type of connector it is. If it is a if it is a Salesforce, then Salesforce related error codes will be there in their Salesforce documentation or in the connector documentation. Um,
Understand.
like Salesforce is more or if it is a HTTP application, um, then normal HTTP will have all error codes like 400, 500. If it's a 200, then it's a success message. Then if it is a 300, 302, it's a redirect one. So different types of based on the integration type, you will get to see the errors accordingly. That too, sometimes you will not know in detail error. Then you have to enable more loggers to know the detailed error, or you can go through the syslog. Syslog, there are syslog events. In that syslog events, you will come to know at least an idea what could be the errors, or there could be you can perform a test connection. If at all the connection is wrong, you can perform a test connection to see if the application is up and running. So those you can do some high level checkpoints.
Okay. Okay, and one last question, Vinod. I know the like
Yeah,
Praveen.
sure.
Yeah. So the basically like while answering my previous question, you said the data will store in the XML. So I just need some brief introduction about the XML. Like in respect to Sailpoint IIQ, what are the uses and why we use the XML?
SailPoint stores everything, everything in a object oriented. It's an object oriented system. It's not, and these object data is stored in different in the XML format. So
Okay,
if you
object.
go into, so SailPoint is Java in the backend it is Java. So Java stores everything in the objects only.
Okay,
And if you are opening any particular object, then you will see in XML format. Format is only XML. But at the end of the day, object, it is an object. Everything in the SailPoint system is an object.
understand.
Hello, Vinod.
Yeah, yes.
If there is time, I can show you that within 2 minutes.
Yeah,
Whatever
yeah,
you have
sure.
discussed, all this.
Yeah, sure.
Kishore, is it okay?
Meanwhile, I just have
Yeah,
small
Praveen,
query.
it's okay.
Within only 2 minutes, I will show so that whatever Vinod has discussed, I will show you this within two
Yeah,
minutes.
yeah, no worries.
Okay.
Okay, so Vinod has discussed about the different levels of tasks, LCM events. So I will just show you that lever events. So this is the lever events,
Mhm.
and when it will get triggered. So here it is already mentioned as whenever the attribute inactive attribute changes from false to true, this lever workflow will get triggered. This is the business process which will get triggered whenever there is a lever event is occurred. So I have my HRMS file opened. So what I will do, I will change that attribute value to true for which user? Anthony.
Anthony Roberts.
Anthony Roberts. 1 second. Okay, and what I will do, so to bring these details from HRMS to Sailpoint, first I need to run the HRMS account aggregation, right? 1 second. Okay, so can you see this? There is one flag is added. I have changed for Anthony, and Sailpoint has added one flag in a for identity object. So this is the XML page. Needs replace is equal to true means Sailpoint will identify that this identity need to be replaced. So whenever I'm running the next replace task, Sailpoint will identify that user need to be replaced because I have made changes for only one user. So here I will now for that user there is no event is created because I have just run the account aggregation task. An account aggregation task will not trigger the any events. So just now 1 second.
It so only updates the data.
Yes, it will update the data in a Sailpoint.
Okay.
Then as part of that refresh identity cube, and if you select that process event,
Process
then
event.
it will exactly create that process that event and calls that lever workflow
Yes,
process,
so
whatever
this option is
change is
already
identified.
checked as a process event. Now I will run this. So before doing this, just we just will see just for Anthony, how many accounts are there? And for all those accounts, is the lever like delete request is getting triggered or not? So Anthony has now two record HRMS and LDAP.
Yep.
So what is expected now? Once the lever event is triggered, two remove request should get triggered as a part of lever event. Execute in background. We can see event process for one user.
Yes.
And also we can see that we can open that identity Anthony and in events we can see
You can see that lever is triggered here.
lever is triggered. And what is the source? Refresh identity queue. Also
Yes.
there must be request would get triggered. Let's see. One is failed
This is
because my LDAP is not working, that's why it's failed. And for HRMS also its request is also get triggered.
okay. So why it is showing waiting for the HRMS?
It is a disconnected applications.
Okay.
Here there must be one work item got created. We need to action that work item. See, this is the work item meant for manual action because that application is disconnected applications.
If a certain action is required to complete, then it will be in pending state. If
Yes.
that action completes, then it will go into different phases.
Yes.
Understand. Okay.
So that
Okay.
is
Thank you so much. Yeah.
okay. Thank you.
Vinod, I have one query.
Yeah,
While running the creating the task account aggregation, we have enable partitioning. That option. If you select
Yeah.
it, it will partition that task and it will run on all remaining servers. If you are not selecting it, that does mean it will run on
whatever
only
task servers you have defined.
Yeah.
Whatever task servers you have defined, those it will run in parallel. And for example, if there are 50,000 accounts that you are aggregating, and there is another option called objects per partition, and I want 1,000 objects per partition, then um, 1,000 it will break, and it will run in different task servers in parallel.
If you are not selecting that enable, but that does mean it will run on only one server or
Yeah, it will run only on one server. Whichever server it picks up, that it will run. Which for example, if that 50,000 are there, and if you are running on one server, it will take long time. And if you enable partitioning, then it will run in parallel everything, which will speed up your aggregation timing. Okay. I answered your question, Pawan.
Yeah. Actually, I just had query that if we select enable partition, it will only show that result. So to know us how many identities are how many partitions like that, I thought, but I am not aware.
So
It
if you
will be
have Compass, feel free to go through the partitioning best practices that is present in the Compass. I just pinged in the chat. So that will give you, that is kind of a Bible for the partitioning related things. So there are different
Vinod, you are not audible.
So we are good, Kishore.
Let's ask Vinod and Pravin. Hi Pravin, hi Vinod.
It's over.
Okay, yeah, I think it's really Sailpoint sessions are very much engaging as always. So thank you again, Praveen, Vinod, again for taking out time and everyone who had joined and then made this engaging. And again, yeah, thank you very much, Kishore, for setting this up and arranging. Appreciate it. And yeah, have a great week ahead. And then we'll connect next weekend with another session.
Yes.
Yes, sure, Ravi. Thank you. Thank you
Thank you so
for
much.
this
Thank you.
Thank you.